Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Street Smart Millionaire. I'm down here in sunny North Carolina. Today, we have a very special guest, one of my coaches and clients, Ragan McKinney, who is literally more than just a really good realtor. Why do I say that, Ragan?
I think because I'm juggling it all. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a realtor, I'm a business owner.
Well, what do most realtors sell a year? How many houses?
40, under 40 and under.
Just so you know, the average realtor sells about 6 houses a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My realtors in my coaching company sell between 50 and 100. Got it? And you sell how many houses a year?
In 24, we sold 413.
413 houses. That's like 35 a month. That's how many houses you sell.
That's a lot of houses, but yes.
I'm sure you have a mega team of 50 agents, correct?
No, I actually don't have any buyer agents.
So you don't have any buyer agents. So what does your team look like? Because a lot of people are trying to build a team to be able to sell 300 houses a year. That's about how many million in real estate?
We did 117 million.
So 117 million in real estate sold by you without a really big team, correct?
Correct.
Good.
So what the team looks like, everybody, and we call it a boutique style firm. Everybody is a licensed realtor. Not everybody sells. So I have 7 what we call RP1s, which are in-house administrative type roles.
So you have like 7 assistants to help take care of all your clients. And you have how many actual people that actually do some sales?
So I have 3 showing assistants. They are all salaried plus commission based off of the sale. I do not have any agents on a split, which is the traditional realtor model.
Okay, so in a normal sense of business, you have 7 admin people and you have 2 kind of like helpers that help you show properties, correct?
4.
You have 4 of those. So there's like 11 people taking care of 340 clients. So you must be super duper busy. What does your schedule look like?
So I operate by a very strict time block. It's really important that I start my day exactly the same way. So my schedule looks like I wake up, I do my morning routine. I get to the office at 9:30, but I get up at 5:30, 5:45. That's my me time. I do my journaling, I do my workout, my full plunge. That's when I get my head right. So when I get to the office, I'm ready to rock and roll.
So you're at the office about what time?
9:30 a.m.
And work until about when?
6 p.m.
So work until 6 p.m. and how much weekend work?
I don't work on the weekends.
So no weekends, 9 to 6, and you sell 300 houses here. Most people are going to find that hard to believe. So how long have you been a realtor? You must have been a realtor like 30 years.
No, I started selling in 2016. Prior to that, I was working.
Realtor for 9 years. What did you do prior to real estate? You must have went to like MIT or Harvard or something like that.
Oh, I would love to tell you that, but I was working in a deli with in a little tiny town. I wouldn't even call it a town. It's a village. We don't even have a stoplight, but I was a single mom. I had 3 kids. If I was standing in front of you, I would be asking you if you wanted fries with that. That was who I was in January of 2016. In June of 2016, I was selling real estate.
How did you decide to get into real estate? How did that happen as a career?
Oh, I was 3 months behind on my mortgage and the school was calling because I couldn't feed my kids. I couldn't send them lunch money and they were eating cheese sandwiches. And I went to bed one night and I prayed about it and I knew that I was built for something more. So I told God, when I wake up, I want you to give me a positive direction. Am I going to be a nurse or am I going to go into real estate? And my grandparents had always had investment properties, so I would help around with that. I did have one investment property prior to getting divorced, which I didn't end up with. So I had a little bit of taste of it, but nothing that I could educate anyone at that time.
So it was either nursing or real estate. Why was it real estate?
Because I don't like blood.
Okay. So how did you get into real estate? Did you go on a team? Did you just become an agent? How did it start?
So I didn't know a lot about it. I reached out to the lady that had sold my house prior and asked her how to get into it. She directed me to her brokerage. I went in. They said, this is who you call to get licensed. I had 3 weeks of babysitters lined up. So I drove. We didn't have online classes that were an option at that time. So I drove 3 weeks in a row to get my license. I knew I couldn't do anything without a babysitter until they were out of school. So I started selling the end of May. And for me, I think the biggest part of my success is that I didn't have a backup plan. I think so many realtors get into selling real estate for extra money, for vacation money, as a secondary job. Like, I needed to make this work. I didn't have a plan B. It was whether I was going to be able to house and feed my kids.
So I will tell you that I look at like, I fell into mortgages, you fell into real estate and just started running full speed. Well, I was running like 80 or 90 hours a week. Did you go through a period where you worked a ton of hours?
I did. So I was about a year and a half into the business and things were great. I was digging myself out of debt. I was able to feed my kids. I got my house payment. I was taking my kids on vacation. I was living a luxury life compared to what I had been. And I wasn't paying my taxes because I didn't know you had to pay taxes. And then I was introduced to the IRS. So I had to figure out how to start saving money. And then the busier I got, the more people wanted from me. And I crashed. I literally was sitting in the parking lot at our brokerage getting ready. I wanted to go back to the deli. I wanted to go back to a simpler life. I was not seeing my kids. If I was at their sporting events, I was not fully present. I was on my phone. I had no
But
idea.
at that time, you were working about how many hours a week?
It felt like 100. What my day looked like is I would wake up at 5:30 and get myself ready. I was not working out. I was not taking care of myself. I would get my kids ready, feed them breakfast, get them to school. I would show and list all day. I would come home, feed my kids. When they would go to bed, I would do all of the administrative work. So I was running on about 2 hours of sleep. I crashed and I burned hard.
And then what got you? How did you reset?
So I had a lender, Aaron Denton, who's also with the Core. As we all know, as realtors, lenders are always chasing us for our business. And Aaron had come to me a few months earlier and he caught me when I was weak, and it's been the biggest blessing ever because he introduced me not just to the Core, but how to run a business. And I told him what I was getting. He called me about a deal, and I said, I'm getting ready to turn my license into the brokerage. This is not for me. And he said, please give it one more opportunity. I have someone I want you to talk to. He introduced me to somebody from the Core who called me immediately, talked me off the ledge, invited me to the summit, which was completely life-changing for me. And I think when people see the summit or these seminars and these get-togethers, they think it's a lot of woo-woo, rah-rah stuff, and it's not. It's real people going through the same things. It's people that have been in a situation very similar to what I've been in. I thought I was going to get there and I was going to be beneath everybody. And in fact, everybody started from the same way. We're all broken. We're still broken. I'm still a mess. I have a lot to work on. But I would not be in real estate if it wasn't for that summit. And I think it was in 2018 that I attended that.
Well, I think that everybody has either they can call them defining moments, or they have aha moments, or they have breakthrough moments. I sat down one time and wrote about 10 of mine, and about 10 times something made me change course. Either got me to God, or committed to me to be a husband, or taught me about balance, or taught me about wealth, or taught me about sales, or taught me about team building. So I think if you have continued defining moments and aha moments where you can make changes, each change leads to like a different level of height that you go to.
I agree.
So 300 deals a year is pretty crazy. 400 deals a year is pretty crazy. I have one other realtor that puts up those kind of numbers. That's Kay. You're on a coaching call with Kay. How do you make it a great experience to help 35 clients a month? That's 8 clients a week. How do you make it a great experience?
I want to be honest. I don't think I am. I think I have room for improvement in that. And that's why I need you to stay on me so I can continue to go in that direction. I'm not giving a 5-star white glove experience that I want to be giving. So I don't think you can do that without adding more staff, which we're doing simultaneously.
So you went from like 4 to 7 in the last 3 months, correct?
Yes, we're hiring. So it's getting better. It's getting better.
And I will tell you, if people out there want to give a white glove experience, the answer to some clients is no, thank you. I can't help you. What's the truth to have a white glove experience?
No, thank you. I can't help you.
What's your current answer? Come on in. I'll take care of you. Is that not your current answer?
What's one more?
So
yeah.
I will tell you, I was with a really wealthy man last week, and he told me there's never enough. I have owned that answer, but I don't want to own that answer. I want to own that it's enough, but I can do better. I think what you do is enough and you can do it better. I think people need a little more of you, and they don't need like I don't need the chef to come out or the manager to come out and talk to me at the restaurant the whole time. But it's nice if the manager comes out and says, really, how is everything? What could we have done better? What could make it a better meal? Or the chef comes out and say, hey, did you enjoy the food? But I have so many people that come out and say, hey, did you like it? See you later. And they're not really serious. They don't take a moment. So I think that in life and in business, if you can take a moment and slow down and say, hey, how are we doing? What can I do better? No, it really matters to me that you give me your opinion. So I think that my life is hurry up and then take a moment. Hurry up, take a moment. So I think you need to learn to take a moment every once in a while and just slow down, because it seems like you're on hyper speed, and I love it. And I'm a big fan of yours and what you're doing. And I know that your hours are good and your balance is good. Let's talk a little bit about balance. What does that word mean to you? Do you exercise?
I do exercise every morning.
So you exercise every morning for how long?
1 hour. It's
What
non-negotiable.
does exercise look like for you? Like, do you do yoga? Do you do classes? What do you do?
It's different. I do Pilates 4 days a week. And then I do yoga, and then I do strength training. So it's all kind of, but
You do Pilates, yoga, and strength training throughout the week, and you work out 7 days a week?
no, 6 days, every day but Sunday.
So you work out 6 days a week, and you do this in the morning or at night? Like I work out in the evening. When do you work out?
In the morning. So when I get up, the kids leave, I get up, take the dogs out. The rest is my time. There's nobody home. We have a home gym, or I go to classes 3 or 4 days a week, Pilates classes. But other than that, I use the home gym. So I'm not.
The good news about sales is we're not starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. We don't really get started calling people till about 9:30. Do you agree? So sales is a great career for people that want to have breakfast with their kids, work out in the morning, pray, journal. Those are great things to do in sales in the morning, because I find that people that go in early, all they can really do is like paperwork that doesn't make them any money anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm more of that. Like I work from 10 to 7. So I get in right about 10 o'clock and I work till 7 every night. Then I live right by my office, so I'm home really quick. So let's talk about, you have how many children?
I'm a blended family. We have a total of 5.
So you have 5 children, and what are their ages?
They're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
So they're all teenagers. So you started young having your kids, right?
I did.
You have blended family. How long has the family been blended?
3 years.
What's that like, starting over in a new relationship? I know a lot of people that make money go through a divorce. Well, let's be clear. Half of America is going to get divorced. So I was a statistic. You were a statistic. I've been married 22 years this time. You've been married 3. What's that like to be super busy, teenagers, and now blend the family together? What's that like?
Full transparency, it's chaos. And I think, when you first start dating someone, you're in the honeymoon phase and everything is great. And what I would recommend anybody that's getting into a new relationship, make sure you're fully transparent with the other person. And when we first start in a new relationship, like anything, we give 110%. And then as time goes on, we start to back off and we're not contributing. I am addicted to my job. I love it. So I am working on being a better wife and a better mom. And when I am home and when I'm with them, being fully present. So at 6 o'clock when I pull in, I'm not on my phone. I don't have the willpower to not be on my phone. So I leave it in the car. I go in, I have dinner, play with the dogs, talk to the kids, interact with my husband. They all will disperse. Believe it or not, they don't want. I think a lot of people think your family wants you all the time. They just want a little bit of a lot of you, if that makes sense. And
I will tell you this. My wife had to talk with me about 2 weeks ago. She says, we need to talk. You ever had that yet? We need to talk.
oh yeah.
I had we need to talk. I'm like, okay. So I've been working a lot this year. I've been working about 60 or 65 hours a week. I'm rebuilding a little bit, doing some new things, adding podcasts, adding subscriptions. So I've been working a little more than normal. Normally I work about 50. And she's like, we need to have the talk. I said, okay, I must be working too much. She says, no, you're doing great. You're home from 7 to 10 with me. That's my family time, 7 to 10. She says, you're not on your phone. You're very present. You're not snippy. Because sometimes when I'm working too much, I can get snippy at home. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that.
I don't think they like it. I don't think they like it that you're snippy because you're overworked. So they're like, work less. Me and you have a lot of money. They're like, work less if you can't do it. So she says, you've been doing great. But she says, on the weekend, you've been a little sluggish. You sleep in a little later. You don't seem that gung-ho. Like, I have a big car collection. She's like, you're not driving any of your hot rods. Okay, this is a nice ring the bell and waking me up a little bit. So I've been getting up earlier on Saturday. I've been driving more cars. I've been doing more chores. And, I don't know if you always get an attaboy, but I'm sure they can see the progress. So what progresses are you making at home?
Leaving my phone in the car so I can be fully present when I go in, making sure that we have dinner together 3 nights a week and that we're not all eating in different
You
places.
don't have to cook it, do you?
No.
It could be carry out. It can be whatever. You agree?
No, I'm not a very good cook. I do try to make something at least 2 days a week that I put together just so it's a little healthier. But no, it's about being at the kitchen table with everybody. We started doing this thing, which our kids thought was super cheesy to start with. But tell me something good that's happening in your life. And then let's talk about something that's not so good. And they would roll their eyes and huff and puff. And at this point, I think they're actually looking forward to it because they're all kind of jumping at the chance to get
no phone from 6:30 to 9, right?
6:30 to 8.
6:30 to 8 is no phone zone for everybody. You have family dinner 3 or 4 nights a week. You ask them what's going good and what's not going well with 4 teenagers. I'm sure they say fine for every answer, correct?
It's getting better. So it started, they were like, oh, this is stupid and rolling their eyes. And now they're looking forward to it. It's a chance for them to get a piece of us and they're connecting with each other because we've had.
And your husband is self-employed as well, correct?
He is.
What does he do?
So he's a builder. He builds homes and he also owns a roofing company. So he works a lot.
Roofing company, builder. So he's self-employed. So he deals with a lot of the chaos that you're dealing with. That, gosh, when you're a small business, how present does the owner have to be?
Very present. You have to be fully immersed or it doesn't work.
Now tell me what the fake dream is.
That you can sit back and point fingers and put your feet up and boss people around and make all kinds of money.
Have I ever had that dream?
I've had that dream. I'm sure you have.
Never had that dream.
No, I've had that.
No, I don't believe I'm very talented as a leader. I believe I'm a really good salesman. I'm a really good coach. And I personally believe it's probably not going to get done well unless I do it. Do you not agree with that?
Oh, I do agree with that.
So I'm not like a coach for people that are the CEO of Apple. I'm more the coach for somebody that runs a small real estate business or runs a mortgage company or is a plumber or is a financial planner. So for me, I believe in these 5 things, and I want you to write them down and rate yourself on these 5 things, okay? I think the number one thing to having a successful business, you need to be a present owner. How would you say you are for present on a 1 to 10?
About a 7.
7. You're pretty present, right?
I'm very present. Yeah.
Now, capital to be able to build staff and hire infrastructure and do marketing. How are you for capitalizing your business?
I have capital.
Cool. How are you doing for unified process?
We need to work on that.
So what does that mean to you?
It means
what does it mean to me? Like you're one of my students, you're one of my coaches. What does a unified process mean to me?
That the client's going to get the same experience from me that they would get if they were in front of you. Obviously, you're amplified because I'm not you, but I want to be able to deliver the exact message that you intend for them.
It's kind of like Chick-fil-A. Why do I use Chick-fil-A as a reference?
Because you can go there at any time, any day, and you're going to get the exact same experience.
And why do I like Chick-fil-A better than McDonald's?
Chick-fil-A is in the relationship business. McDonald's is very transactional.
Because the owner is engaged. What is the owner?
They're engaged. They come out.
For me, super active ownership. For me, super capitalized, able to do whatever you need, whenever you need to do it, hire what you need, throw money. Like if you could throw money at a problem, you could pretty much solve what?
Any problem.
Yeah. And then I look at uniformity. Like in the core, everybody works off the hand that feeds me and the hand that funds me. And I try to keep it really simple where everybody's doing the same things. And some of you are just you're better at it than other realtors. Why is that?
Well, I do what you say.
Okay, well, lots of them do what I say, and they do 10 deals a month, and you do 30 deals a month.
So what's the question?
Like, how do you do 30 when everybody else does 10 when we all do the same things?
I don't know. I think if you do what you say you're going to do and you do it with passion and you do it with the intention to serve versus what you're going to get, that's why I'm successful. I
think there's 3 words that describes you that you should write down, in my opinion. Number 1, you're obsessed. What's the number 1 word?
I'm obsessed.
I'm obsessed in my business. I'm obsessed with Jesus. I'm obsessed with being a great coach. I'm obsessed with being a good stock manager. I'm obsessed in many things. Like you said earlier, you're obsessed at work, but I find that you're obsessed in many things: fitness, marriage, kids, community, saving, giving, growing. I find you obsessed in many things. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Now, most people like us are only obsessed in one thing. What are they?
Only obsessed with one thing.
So I think you're obsessed is one. Got it? I
Got it.
think two, you serve at a high level. What does that mean? I serve at a high level.
So serving at a high level is giving, in my case, the clients a 5-star white glove experience is what we like to say, and making sure at the end of the transaction that we've met all their goals. And I feel like I don't chase the money. I chase the experience. And that's a big part of my success.
I find that as my student and coach that you serve me, you always want my approval. You work hard to make me happy. You work hard to get all the work done. You call me with problems. You call me with, I find you a joy to coach and a joy to employ. So as a student and an employee, I find you a joy. Let me tell you the third word that you are. You are relentless. I am what?
Relentless.
My boss, who's a billionaire, is relentless. All of the 35 coaches that work for me that make between 1 and 15 million are what?
Relentless.
Relentless. I find that if you had to pick one word, obsessed, serve, and relentless, which word would take you farther?
Serve.
Yes. Serve will take you the farthest. That's a good pick. I didn't think you would pick that. I thought you would have picked obsessed or relentless. So just so you know, to serve.
Oh, you didn't ask me what I thought. You asked me what it should be as serve. I would probably say,
Here's what I will tell you. I have been relentless and obsessed before I served. Now, as I'm relentless and I'm obsessed to serve, to make your life better, to give you balance, to teach the people out here how to make money, to teach them how to invest properly, to teach them how to make more sales. As I've learned to serve, what does to serve mean to you?
to serve means to me to do something without expecting something in return.
And it's in you can feed them, you can listen to them, you can care for them, you can get them a good deal on a house, you can make looking at a house fun. There are a lot of things you could do to serve. Now, the greatest salesman, coach, and leader of all times was who?
Rick Ruby.
Wrong. No way. Jesus was the greatest sales leader.
Jesus.
What did he do? What was one thing he did that was so crazy that he did to serve?
He gave his life.
Okay. He got down and washed people's feet.
Okay.
Who did that in those times?
Nobody.
The slaves.
Okay.
So I just want you to know, you can never do too much to serve on your family, your husband, your kids, your client, your God, your community. I think that to be obsessed, marriage, kids, God, gym, work, investing, friendship, family, I think be obsessed. I think be relentless. That you're going to go get it. Nothing is going to be in your way. You're going to do it no matter what. You are the definition of relentless, and you're learning to serve at a high level. Now, let's talk about being married. So, what are you doing to work on that?
Making sure that I'm fully present when I'm home, getting off my phone. We're doing date night once a week, which was something that
What does that look like to go on a date once a week? What does that look like with 5 kids?
well, our kids are all teenagers, so we have to force them to spend time. So it's not really, we don't have to get babysitters or anything like that.
So
But
you do the same day every week?
it rotates between Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So no, depending on what we have going on with our schedules, but it is set in the calendar for the next week. And then he picks one week, I pick the next week. And it's not always like a fancy dinner. I think that's where I got hung up with date night, is it always had to be a 5-star dinner. We had to get dressed up. And what I've realized when we connect the most is he just bought a farm. We've been going out to the farm, and believe it or not, I'm enjoying it. It's got a gorgeous view. I put my boots on, I throw my hair in a bun, and we can just be together in a non-work environment, a non-stress environment. So that's my favorite. We're going, we have a lake house. We go to the lake for a couple of days, doing things that don't require work, where we can be together, fully present, and just be us.
Now, I will tell you that, we bought a farm about 3 years ago. And I was kind of like reluctant to buy it because Britt wanted to rescue animals. And it's about 20 minutes away. How far is your farm?
About 20 minutes away.
So we're literally there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We go home Sunday about 6 o'clock to the lake, and they're about 20 minutes apart. And we have about 68 animals, and my wife loves it. And I will tell you, I find I'm the most at peace sitting in a chair, looking over the pasture, looking at the cows, cutting grass, cutting trees. I actually love farm work, and we will probably end up getting a bigger farm and living on a farm just because it brings you, I don't know, it's kind of being closer to God and nature. It kind of gives me a good feel. And it's like, I spend more time outside now than I ever did in my life.
Well, and just, last weekend I was pulling weeds, and I've always had somebody that comes and does our landscaping, and I started doing like pulling. It was so therapeutic to get your nails dirty and not have your phone attached to you and be outside and see the worms and the stuff that I thought was gross. Just, I was outside for a couple hours pulling weeds. It felt good.
I will tell you this. I find that you are starting to epitomize wealth and balance instead of rich and lost. What are most people like you?
Rich and lost. And I was
What
there.
is rich? What's the difference between rich and wealthy to you?
Rich has a lot of money, cash money, like things, but you don't like true wealth is time and being able to spend the time with my kids. If I want to take a day off and, take my daughter prom dress shopping and be able to be fully present with my business still running, that's what wealth means to me, is that I can, it's time. Wealth is time.
Cool. I think for me, it's the difference in the mindset. Are you better at this or are you just a better person? I think rich people think they're just what?
Just a better person.
I think wealthy people think they're just like, you're a better realtor than most people. I'm a better lender and realtor coach. I'm probably a better mortgage man than most people. I'm not a better person, which I was probably confused with early on when I first started making money. I'm just better at this than other lenders. You're better at this than other realtors. Do you agree with that?
I do.
And I will tell you that a rich person, when he screws up, says, oh, well. And I find that wealthy people, when they screw up, say, I'm sorry. So I think a good practice is for me and you to say, I'm sorry a lot. And I think that whenever I let somebody down, I don't want to say, oh, well, I want to say, I'm sorry, I'll do better. And I think that's a good lesson for the difference between wealth and balance. I think you're doing an excellent job. I love watching you grow. And the thing about you is there are no boundaries. Like there are no limits about what you can be or what your life can look like or what you can, like most people are stuck in a box. What does that mean?
I mean, if you put your mind to it and you work for it, you can make it happen.
I know, but when I say they're stuck in a box, what does that mean? Or they have a ceiling, what does that mean?
I think when they hit a certain point, they just think they've achieved and reached. And for me, there is no limits. If I can go this far, why not go this far? And I love what I do, so it's easy for me I like to push the boundaries. I think it goes back to being obsessed and relentless.
Yes, you do like to push the boundaries. I have noticed that about you. You push the you can test a leader's patience many times. But normally I'm like, let her go. It'll probably turn out great. So what I've had to do is like, give her a little freedom. She'll probably do really well. And now, have you had many failures and knockdowns?
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot. I think that's what builds you, though. So, I worked for a big brokerage, the traditional style brokerage, in 2018. They called me in and basically gave me an ultimatum because we weren't aligning on fee structure. And I knew deep down that wasn't what I was built for. And I could go to another brokerage and go down the same rabbit hole, or I could start my own. So I had 52 listings that they wouldn't let me take. They didn't pay me for a year. I had no money. And I decided to open my own brokerage. So probably not the smartest decision in the moment, but it made me dive in and work hard. And this is a true story. When I bought this office, which I need a much bigger one, but I'm emotionally attached to, is it had dirt floors. It had water pouring from the ceilings, but it's what I could afford to be able to create the business that I wanted. And you're not going to work harder for anyone than you do yourself. And when you can build something and you can be a part of it, there's so much gratification in that.
I want to share a funny story about you. One of my best realtors I've ever had is Adam Cobb. I mean, they're to 25 million. Every deal is 2 to 5 million. And I put you on a call with him last year, and you're doing 30 little deals and he's doing 8 great big deals. So he did more deals because of you. And then I challenged you to find some big deals. And guess what you never said?
No, I can't do it.
You never said not possible, even though your average sales price in your town is what, 250?
She's 60
How did you go find $1 million deals?
because they're out there. I just wasn't looking for them.
I know that you had to go get farms. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I had to get farms.
You had to go find big farms to sell and become a farm expert. Now it's funny that your husband bought a farm. I thought that deal didn't come together. You put it together, huh?
It came together and I got my full commission.
Good for you. Sometimes you got to hold firm on a purpose and be relentless, but don't cave. So
I did.
Good thing. I will tell you this. I am very proud of you. I am very honored to be part of your journey. And I will tell you, sometimes I feel like I'm holding on, running behind you, but I think you're a lot of fun to watch grow. And I think that you inspire a lot of realtors and lenders. And for the rest of you out there, serve the people you deal with, be obsessed about your life, and be relentless to get what you want. Reagan, final thoughts.
I just want to say that thank you to you and the core for just having faith in me. When you first met me, I was a total train wreck and I did not ever think I would have the opportunity to live. I get up every day and thank God I can't believe this is my life. So thank you for giving me a chance, and thank you for continuing to pour into me. I need a boot in the rear end every now and then, or more than every now and then. And I'm grateful for that. So I would not be where I'm at without you. So thanks.
I look at that. I've helped 767 people net $1 million in my last 24 years. It's probably, if I look at my 3 big accomplishments, help 767 people make $1 million. Our organization of 400 clients has given away $272 million to charity. That's a great accomplishment. I think those are some of my biggest accomplishments. And I think that seeing people like you break records and take things to a new height, knowing someday that somebody will break your records, like you're the unit leader, you and Kay are the 2 unit leaders. And I'm just honored to be part of your journey, and I'm proud of the growth you've had, and I just can't wait to see the next 10 years. Have fun, everybody. Rick Ruby, Street Smart Millionaire. See you later.
Thank you, Rick.